Hey everybody, I'm gonna give it just a couple of seconds for everybody to join us real quick. So just realized you could see all the things behind me at my desk here. So I'll give it just a minute. I have myself a Halls. Say hi in the comment section if you guys can hear me, if you can see me okay. Cough drop. Huh? I needed a cough drop. Hey, Amber, how you doing, girlfriend? I'm jealous of you in Alaska right now. I want you to know that. Hey, Peggy, how are you? I'm not sick. I'm having this weird, like, when I talk, I feel like my throat dries out really easy. So I'm trying to prevent that. That's what I'm trying to do. So, hey, Adorably Hungry, how are you doing? I wanted to be super casual today. So I'm just sitting at my desk with you guys. I'm good, Peggy. How are you? I'm going to pop in to the Sisterhood, our Facebook page, and let everybody know that I'm here and that we are live. So doing laundry only so. Yeah, I feel ya. Laundry is never a fun thing. I do it as like a means to have to do something. It's not something I enjoy doing whatsoever. So I'm going to post in here real quick. How are you guys doing? I feel like I've been absent for 12 years, and it is definitely not intentional. I feel so bad. So please don't think that I have lost any sort of commitment to the sisterhood, because that is so not true. And part of what this is all about. Oh, laundromat, you can do it in an hour. Well, I find laundromats really scary. I don't know why that is. I think it's just because I'm a big baby. But, I don't want to go to laundromat. I feel like I couldn't do some of the things that you do, Amber. I feel like you are just so much stronger and tougher than me. But, I feel like I have really strong women friends, and that makes me feel so much better because I feel like such a baby. When you started RVing. If you guys don't know who Amber is, she actually has a channel called Story Chasing. She's amazing. She travels solo independently, but she travels in an RV. But it's not like one of those massive RVs. It's more like a van. It's just awesome. We did a collaboration with her not too long ago. So it's so much fun. I'm weirdly jealous of your lifestyle, the minimalist of it. Like not having lots of things and not having a lot of stuff. Like I totally admire that about you. Just from being home, the short amount of time that we've been home, I find myself wanting a lot of things. And so that kind of gives me anxiety because it's exactly the opposite of what I was trying to do when we were traveling. So I love that you can easily make those decisions. So that's amazing. If you guys don't follow her, go follow her. She's awesome. She also didn't pop in here, so I would say that. She's just a great friend. I just wanted to send you guys her way just in case. So let's get started. So we have a few people here. I'm sure some people will pop in as they see things. But what I wanted to have my trusty, I have notes. You guys. I know that a lot of our sisters that aren't here necessarily because of the time zone. So you'll be able to see it in replay. So I'm not going to worry so much about, anybody missing anything. So if you guys have any questions for me, please leave that in the comment section and I will do my very, very best to answer them for you. So why are we here today? Have I been gone? That is a loaded onion. And it has layers for an answer. So one of the main reasons why you have seen me be absent on my Sisterhood channel, as well as for any of you who follow us on Chubbing Away, we have been absent for the sole reason of things have been crazy. Jimmy's dad had surgery mid-June, and it did not go according to plan. So bless him, he actually had to go back in surgery. So he had 2 very invasive back surgeries in a week. And so that led to a lot of craziness for us around here, because when he came home, he was not initially doing well. It was obvious that he was not doing well. And so then they made another appointment to have him revisit the doctor, and there were lots of things going on that they were afraid they were going to have to go back in. And ultimately, that's what they had to do. So it was invasive to the point where all of us were kind of on, not to be dramatic, but, kind of round the clock care, because when he initially got home, he could not walk, he could not stand, he could not do a lot of things for himself, which is also not typical. So that made us believe something was terribly, terribly wrong. So through that time, we were in the hospital a lot and there was a lot going on. So we did not have time to film, edit, or really do anything work related. We're really happy to report that he's home and he's doing better. And he came home totally different than he did the first time. It is shocking how much better he's doing. And so he's on the mend. And we're really pleased about that. And so this week, in terms of chubbying away, has become a catch-up week for us, because it kind of turned into 2 weeks of us not being able to work. And so during that time, hi, Stephanie. I was not able to really do anything with the sisterhood either. So on a completely separate note, on a much more personal note, June was a weirdly difficult month for me. You guys, I'm just going to be very honest with you. It was busy, but it was difficult for a lot of reasons, completely unrelated to his dad's surgery. And it opened my eyes to some things about my life and how I'm living it, and kind of the course of some things. And it also kind of brought to the surface some areas in which I can make some adjustments, and some areas I believe I wasn't being as true to myself as I really should be. And so I want to translate some of that into the sisterhood. I actually had someone say, "Oh, please don't stop doing videos." I'm not going to stop doing videos. That is not something that I want to do. What you guys may or may not know is years and years ago, previous to us actually starting Chubbying Away, I always wanted a women's channel. That was something that was incredibly important to me, was to have an impact on women. You see, Jimmy. Thanks. But I always wanted a women's channel, and not just because I'm a woman, but women's rights and things. And hi, Linda. You didn't miss me. I'm here. A lot of those things have always been very, very important to me. And initially, I wanted a beauty channel. That's something I wanted to do. And if any of you have paid any attention recently, the YouTube beauty community is in flames. It is crashing and burning. And I'm not embarrassed to have been a small part of that, because it's all kind of surrounding several issues. But part of it is the Jaclyn Hill lipstick fiasco. If you've been following any of that, don't leave right now and do it. But when you have some time, holy cow. So a lot has been crazy with that. And so through our travels, I really changed my focus in my field. Travel changed my life. Travel changed how I see myself, how I see cultures, how I see everything. Travel changed me drastically. So beauty and fashion and things kind of became a necessary evil in my life. And that's part of why I wanted to start the sisterhood focused on women of size, mostly because I kind of feel like we get brushed to the side, or we kind of get put in a corner and kind of told to be quiet. Nothing makes me angrier. Women as a whole, I feel like we have to struggle with that, but women of size especially do. And so this channel is something that I want to be an instrument to all of you. I can't change the way that we're seen. I can't change society, but I can do what I can to help you change the way you see that situation. And so a lot of that needs to start with me. A lot of that needs to start with how I view that situation. And so through the month, I had a lot of weird things happen. I started to really feel pressed personally, just with some things that I was dealing with in my personal life and relationships that I have, as well as kind of adjusting back to the States has been very hard for me. It's not been something that I have adjusted to very well. I felt very uncomfortable and almost angry at some things that I'm seeing happen in our country right now. And it saddens me greatly. And having left the country, I have a sense of comparison not a lot of people have. And not a lot of people like to hear that from you. They don't like to hear your sense of comparison. They don't like to hear your experiences. And that's been something that's been very difficult for me as well. And so I actually got into a horrible disagreement with a family member about that. And it really showed me how massively different my views are from other people, but it also showed me a tremendous amount of responsibility I have, because I understand not everybody has the means, the desire, or even the ability to travel the way that I do. I understand that. Not everybody wants to do that, but that doesn't mean that I don't have something to say to those that don't do that. And I really feel a sense of responsibility and passion to kind of help other people understand what other parts of the world is really like. It isn't just what you see on the news. It isn't as terrible and as scary as so many people want you to experience and want you to understand or want you to think. And so that rocked me. Having that discussion with my family member really rocked me, because I was so angry about that conversation with her. And coming from someone who doesn't have a passport and has never been anywhere, it really upset me. And to actually view me as naive because of my understanding of the world was really hard for me to stomach. And so Jimmy and I had this really long conversation. I had a long conversation with my dad and kind of came to a conclusion that I need to sit down and decide what I'm passionate about and how I'm going to use that in what we do here. And so, sorry, I have a lump. I'm weirdly emotional about this, you guys. I'm not going to cry, but it's one of those, it's like, it sits right here. Part of why I popped a cough drop, because I knew it was going to do that. So what I did was I sat down and made a list of things that are important to me, that I feel like women of size need to know, and where I wanted this channel to go, and where I wanted my hopes for this entire thing in the future to go, and where for it to kind of be based, because I thought it's so new and it's in such a baby stage that I can take it from here and really build it. And so if I start it with a foundation differently and really solid, I can feel really good about where it goes. So what does that mean for the channel? What I would like to do here on out is I really want to be much more involved. I want us to communicate more. I want us to do more. I want it to be less of me posting, of just necessarily something that's going on. Like, this is not all about me. That's really how I feel about this. This is not all about me. This is as much about all of you. I created this because I wanted it to be a resource and something positive for you. And so I shouldn't be the only face that you see. I shouldn't be. So just because this was my idea to start this does not mean that I'm the only one dealing with these things, impacted by these things, or should be commenting on these things. So here's what I'd like to do. I have my trusty note. Flip my page. And my no problema. How cute is that? So what topics I would like to cover on this channel, on social media, and feel free to comment in the comments. I am open to your opinions, because I see this as your thing just as much as mine. So if I mention something that you're not interested in or you don't like, please tell me. I will take that into consideration, absolutely, because I want to create content that you want to watch. It needs to be something that can be impactful and valuable for you as well. So topics that I want to cover here are definitely travel. It's what I do. It's what I know. It's what I live. It's what I'm passionate about. I want to talk about travel, but I want to talk about travel from a female's perspective. We react to things differently. We deal with things differently. And from a plus size perspective, it's a whole different world out there, you guys. So I want to approach travel from that standpoint. So when I say travel, I mean tips, advice, packing, what you think you need, what you actually don't need, and things that you do need from that kind of a guideline. I want to talk about travel in a positive way, but I will be real with you at the same time. If it ends up being, don't go here, one of those kind of situations, I want you guys to avoid. I'll be very honest with you about that. The other thing I want to talk about is food. Now, I love to cook. I love recipes. Pinterest is one of my favorite things in terms of looking for recipes, but I also learned so much about food when we were in Asia. How to cook differently, how flavors are different, how ingredients are different, and it impacted the way that I eat. It impacted what I crave. It completely changed food for me. And so I definitely want to incorporate a lot of food here. As women, we are typically responsible for feeding our families. That's just kind of the way that it falls. I know some families aren't like that, but for the most part, it's on us, So I really think it would be fun to do some recipes, some, cooking videos, if that's what you guys like, what I eat in a day. If you guys want kind of a peek into what I'm eating, more than happy to do that. So I definitely want to cover food. The other thing that I really want to talk about is self-improvement. Now, this is something that is painful and is not always fun, but it is incredibly, incredibly necessary. And while we were traveling, I really started to become very curious about meditation, which we've talked about, briefly. I discussed self-care and how it's important to take care of yourself, because as women, we tend to put everybody else before us. Before we know it, we're completely depleted of any energy. And where do we go from there? So I really think that that's important for us to talk about. I also want to embark on a weight loss journey. Let me say, this is not because anybody told me I need to. Nobody said you're too fat and you need to lose weight. Well, they do. I just don't care. Book last week, you saw it was very long, but I want to lose weight for myself because I don't feel good. I have gained a tremendous amount of weight since returning from Asia. I know some of that has to do with food in the States. A lot of that has to do with food in the States, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. I know it's layered and there's a lot to it, but I want it to be a lifestyle situation for me versus some crash diet. So that's not how I'm approaching it. So I wanted to preface this by saying that. I want to exercise. I want to find things that I enjoy. I don't want to just trudge around on a treadmill and be miserable for 30 minutes. Because I won't stick to it. I just know I won't. So I'm not interested in doing that. I want to find foods that taste good, that are also healthy for me. So I really want to do the work with it being something I can stick to long-term versus it being, do this till you get the weight off and then go back to how you were eating before. It's never worked for anybody that I know, but I also understand my genetic makeup and I am built differently. So I will always, by society standards, be considered plus size. If I was under a size 10, I would look sick. I would look like a horribly, terminally ill patient. I'm not built right for that. So I also have to accept that about myself and align my expectations accurately. So that's something that I want to talk about within self-improvement, within us working on ourselves, because we can only give if we're really, taking care of us too. And that's very, very important. The other thing I would like to talk about is kind of natural living, like essential oils and cruelty-free products that don't have a lot of chemicals and stuff in them. I've kind of become a weird hippie since I got home. I don't know how else to say that. I'm proud of it. It's not something that I think is bad. I'm weirdly proud of it. But I think there's just so much that is bad for us. Hi, Effie. There's so much in what we consume and what we use that's bad for us that I just don't want to continue to do it. So that's something I'm interested in. I will do a hint, or in the words of Jimmy, a skosh of things in terms of beauty and fashion, just because it's necessary evil in our lives we live in. And so we need to have clothes and We don't need to have makeup, but sometimes we like those things. So I will include some of that, but in a very small way, just because I think it needs to take a back seat to the things that are more important. I'm not offended if these are not the topics and things that you're interested in, or if these are not the things that you want to see from me. I apologize greatly for that, but I really want to do what I feel in my gut is right. And these are the topics in my gut that I feel like I'm passionate about, that I can create honest, great content around, that I feel like can be beneficial for everybody. So yeah, I do want your opinions. I do want to know what things you guys want to see in terms of specifics. Like I said before, I want to create content that you guys want to see, but I also want to be true to the content that I'm creating. Doing makeup videos and fashion videos is just not me. It's not what I care much about. It's just what it's just a necessary evil. And I'm also pretty solidly frustrated that as plus size women, we don't have many options. And so I'm definitely trying to work around some of that and figure some of that out. So hi, Holly. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So one other thing I wanted to mention to you guys is I may change the style of the videos that I'm posting. I am a vlogger. I have been a vlogger my entire life on YouTube. Sitting down in front of a camera and filming makes me feel weird. It makes me feel unnatural, and it makes me talk really fast because it feels strange. I am so used to vlogging. I'm so used to holding a camera out like this. I'm used to that. And so I'm really thinking hard on how to incorporate these topics into a vlog style video, because it's just what I'm comfortable making. It's what I'm comfortable editing. It's just what I've always done. So I call them talking head videos, when you just sit down in front of a camera and you talk about something. Those are awkward for me as a vlogger. I also want to take you guys with me places. Like I want to feel the freedom changing the style to a vlog style channel to take you places. Like if it's a video I'm doing on food one week, I want to take you guys with me to Trader Joe's. I want to take you guys with me, if I'm trying to find clothes and I can't find anything. Like I want the freedom of taking you with me. And I like the ability to do that. I like to be able to be mobile, but more than that, take you guys with me in a way where it shows more to you than if I was just describing it to you. So hopefully you like vlog style videos and you'll be interested in all of that. These topics will continue even when Jimmy and I start traveling again full time. We're in the States right now, obviously, but this is not where we will be forever. We have plans. We are working hard. We are really trying to do some things to where we are traveling full time again. So these are all topics that are mobile with me. So I can take you with me in Europe or in the Middle East or Asia or wherever it is I end up, and I can still show you these things. I can still talk to you about these things. In fact, it gets that much more interesting if I'm vlogging for all of you in those circumstances. So hopefully you guys are cool with some of that. Let's see here, Linda. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're so sweet, Linda. Oh my God, I just want to hug you. You're amazing. Oh, hi, Maymay. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Effie, oh my gosh, you're in Europe for 2 months. Jealous. You have to let me know how that went, because Europe's on my list for next year. I cannot wait to hear where you went. Amazing. Please let me know. Oh, whatever you do, I'll watch. You're so sweet. Oh, thank you, Peggy. You guys are amazing. I really appreciate you guys being so wonderful and so supportive about this, because I want this to be a two-way conversation. Something else that I read. So I should have told y'all to pack a snack, because I'm just chatty Cathy and I have all kinds of stuff I want to tell you. So one thing I mentioned in that Facebook post that I posted was I read something that just rocked me. And it was this. It said, when people come to your page, are they walking away better or worse? And if you are an influencer, this is how it worded it, what are you influencing people to do? Now, that's loaded, you guys. I have never been someone that does the hair flip of, I'm an influencer. Like, no, I never thought of myself like that. In fact, it makes me feel a little awkward, if I'm being super honest with you. It makes me feel awkward. So when I read stuff like that, I have to really think about it. And I really internalized it. And I thought to myself, when people come here, do they leave better or do they leave worse? And it's my responsibility to make sure they leave better. And then I really thought, what am I influencing anybody to do? What is the point of this? And that's a whole lot of what I started thinking about. What's the point? I want to encourage all of you to travel. I want you to see the world because I think it's so incredibly enriching, and it almost changes your genetic makeup. It changes you massively when you go to travel. And so that's one thing I want to influence you to do. I want you to travel, and I don't want you to be scared. I don't want you to be worried about being a woman. I don't want you to be worried about being plus size. I want you to go, and I want you to do it and try it. The other thing is I want you to feel comfortable with your relationship with food. As a plus size person, it's really easy for us to feel embarrassed when we eat. It's easy for us to say, you almost don't want to say you enjoy eating or you enjoy good food, because when people look at you, they judge you for that. And so I want you to have a good, solid relationship with how you see food. And then so that's an important thing for me with this channel. And I also want you guys to feel good about you. And that's something that's really hard to do. Is it something I have locked down? No, absolutely not. Part of the reason why I'm choosing these topics is because I need to grow in these areas as much as anybody else does. And so I am not going to pretend to be an expert on any of it. I am your sister in this who is learning and doing the exact same things, who's learning the exact same things. So that's what I want to influence you to do. I want you to travel. I want you to have a solid relationship with food. And I want you to have a solid relationship with yourself. I want you to understand those things are okay. So that's why I'm here. That's whether I'm an influencer or not, I don't know. But that's what I would hope to be. If I was an influencer to you at all, that's what I want. That's what I want to influence you to do. And I want you to leave here better. And so if things ever go in a direction in which you feel like it isn't that way, I want you to tell me. I want you to be honest with me. And we'll go from there. I want this, like I said, to be a two-way conversation. So one thing that I want to add to our fun here, in addition to all that, is I want to do a book club, because I love to read and I don't read enough. And so one thing I would love for us to do is, because we're busy people, I would like for us to pick a book and we will read it together over an 8-week period. We'll pick a book together. We'll decide if it's fiction, nonfiction, self-improvement, whatever. We'll decide together and we'll read together. I think that's really important, because I think when I read a good book, I want to talk to somebody about it. I always am like, have you read this? And if they haven't, it just deflates my life, because you get so excited about it. So here's my plan for this. Starting September 1st, it's because I need August to get myself in order from the last few weeks. So September 1st, we will start book club. So 2 weeks, so mid-August, I will put up a post and we'll pick a book. I'll do a poll kind of thing and we'll pick a book, and I'll put 3 of them on there. I'll give you a spot where you can fill one in. We'll pick a book together. And then 1 week previous to us starting on September 1st, I will post that on Instagram and Facebook. Make sure you follow me in both places, because I'm going to be posting in both places regularly, at least 5 days a week. And it will be different content both places. And so you don't want to miss anything. So make sure you follow in both of those places, as well as check out stories, because I will start to incorporate some things there I'll talk about in a minute. But I'm excited about book club. I think that could be something really fun. And then following the 8 weeks, when we finish the book, we will do a live event just like this, and we're going to talk about it. I'll have questions. I'll have talking points. We'll have a discussion. I think it will be super fun to be able to discuss the book, and then we can start the discussion on the next book to do. So every 8 weeks, we will do a new book. That will allow everybody time to buy it, read it, finish it, and be able to be with everybody else when we do the live event to talk about it. So I hope you guys are pumped about that. I think that'd be really, really fun. I was inspired by Oprah, not just because Oprah's a badass, but because I love Oprah's book club, and she always picks something fantastic and phenomenal to read. So, but I want to give us the option to do some fiction books as well. So keep that in the back of your mind, you guys. And if you see any good books come up, take a screenshot, send them to me, be like, hey, put this on your list for book club. I want to know. So Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to be honest with you. I have sucked at this. I just haven't. I haven't posted as much as I should. I've let my, personal life and stresses and things kind of get in my way, and it's unfortunately suffered. And I apologize to all of you for that. And so I am rolling out a whole new sort of social media plan. We did this for Chubbing Away, Jimmy and I, recently this week, and I'm doing the same thing for the Sisterhood. So 5 days a week, I will be posting. 7 days a week, I will be in stories, on Instagram stories. I'm going to treat that as kind of my everyday life. It's not going to have a map or a plan to it. It's just going to be, this is my life, as weird and crazy as it may be. So I'm just going to show you guys bits and pieces of that. So on Mondays, I'm going to post on Instagram and Facebook a motivation for you guys, whether that's a quote or a meditation that I'm liking, or any sort of anything to uplift you. Mondays are difficult days, and a lot of people sort of see that as the end to your weekend, where I really want all of us together to start to see it as the start of a fresh and clean, brand new week. So I'm going to send you something that impacts me positively from a point of motivation. So I'm going to share all of that with you guys, much like I did this past Monday with that other quote. So, thank you, Catherine. You're so sweet. I appreciate you. I feel like just feel like a bad, I should be doing better. So that's what we'll do Mondays. Mondays will be all about motivation, uplifting you, helping you really start your week in an awesome way. Tuesdays, I'm going to post about food. I saw a hashtag recently called Tasty Tuesday, and I thought, okay, I'm in. So I'll show you what I'm eating in that day, or I'll show you just fun sort of things in terms of food, whether there's a food I'm liking or whatever. We eat a lot of weird, crazy stuff. Jimmy's mom tells us that all the time. You guys eat weird stuff. But I want to share that with you guys, because what if it's something you've never heard of and you end up loving it? So I will share food posts and things from our travels as well as at home for Tuesdays. Wednesdays, I want to focus on self-care, because Wednesdays is a hard day too. It's the middle of the week. You're still only halfway there until your weekend, and you may or may not get to do some fun things. And so I really want Wednesday to focus on you and self-improvement for you and making you feel better. So we will be doing some self-care stuff and some just self-improvement things on Wednesdays. Thursdays will be travel days, because it's a couple days before the weekend. So whether you're headed out on vacation or just a weekend trip, we will talk about travel on Thursday. And then Friday, I'm going to call it Fab Friday. And that's where I'll throw in, whether it's some makeup product I'm liking, a skincare product I'm liking, a shampoo, or I just recently bought the world's best pair of leggings from Amazon. I'm going to share with you guys. They're like butter. So that's what I'll share with you guys on Friday. Fridays are fun days. They're uplifting days. Everybody's pumped for the weekend on Fridays. And so we'll talk about fabulous, fun, really frivolous kind of things on Fridays. And then Saturdays and Sundays, I won't be posting necessarily to Facebook and Instagram, but I will be on Instagram stories, just kind of hanging out, sharing life with you guys. So, and I'll throw some things in between. So that is my plan for you guys for kind of social media for the week, as well as how we're going to move forward with all of that. With videos, I'm going to cover the same topics, the same things that we've talked about. I will cover them in social media. I will talk about them here. I will still only post once a week on Wednesday, because it just fits really well in my week with my other kind of responsibilities with Chubbing Away and other things that we're doing there, because I want this to fit well within my timeline so I can dedicate the time necessary to all of you, as well as produce the quality of content that you deserve. So once a week is a sweet spot for me on Wednesday. I will be doing monthly favorites. I think they're fun. That's an old school YouTube thing that nobody does anymore, and I think it's tragic. So I'm bringing back the monthly favorites, guys, but not just beauty or fashion. Be food, books, TV shows. Let me know favorite topics and things. I'll cover them all, because I think it's important for us to share those favorites with each other, because that's how we discover new things. Who doesn't love talking to your girlfriend about something she's loving? And that's how I want you guys to see this. I want you to see this as just a conversation with a girlfriend about stuff she loves. So that's super fun. So we'll be doing those once a month. And I told you already that I'm going to be doing vlog style videos. So that's what we're going to cover, guys. That is the new plan. Let me know what you think. I hope you're happy with it. I hope you're not terribly disappointed. It's not massively different, but it feels massively different to me because I'm approaching it from such a different place. And I really want this to be an escape for you guys, somewhere that you can come and feel good. And it's because the world's hard, life's hard, no matter what anybody's affiliations are or where you are in the world, there's always difficult things about it. And so I really want this to be a safe space. I want this to be a safe, free, happy, positive place for you guys to come and spend some time. So I'm really working hard to create that environment for you guys in terms of our social media as well as here on YouTube. So if you guys have any friends, if you guys know anybody that you think would be really excited about this kind of content or would be really interested in it, it'd mean a great deal to me for you to share it with them, because I really want as many people as possible to be able to see it and to be impacted by it. And I don't necessarily feel like they need to be plus size for it to be a positive place for them. And I think, as women, if we can be supportive of each other and seeing each other as allies and friends, unless it's competition, I think we could really do some incredible things in this world, not just for us, but for everybody. And so I think there's so much understanding that needs to happen, not just from, fat, skinny, gay, straight, whatever. It just becomes such a muddied water that I think, we're all women. We should just be seen as that. And I think, for us to understand that and to start there together is really a wonderful, positive place to begin. And so that's what I want this to be. I want this to be a place where you can come and not feel judged. And I will work very hard to make sure it stays that way for you, because it's what we all really need at the end of the day, is to be somewhere safe where we don't feel judged. So I appreciate you guys massively for being so very kind about all of this and for showing up to this live event. I'm not finished. I just wanted to thank you. Effie. Aw, you're so sweet. You guys are so sweet. Love it. I am not taking on too much, Linda. I promise. I have scaled this in a way to where it is palatable for me. It's something that I can do and I can commit to, and it's something I'm really excited about. So, yeah, I'm really excited about that. So one thing I wanted to give you guys the opportunity of is, if you guys have any questions for me, hearing all of that, I know it's a lot. It's a lot, I know. But if you guys have any questions for me, or if you have any comments or suggestions or anything like that, please leave that in the comments here now. We can discuss it a bit. I also have a talking point that my wonderful friend Danielle left on our Facebook page that I really wanted to talk to you guys about too, because I thought she had just such an interesting perspective. I took a screenshot of it on my phone. I love her. I'm telling you guys, we make it to Europe, you will meet her. She's rare. She's good people. I feel really privileged to call her my friend, because I feel like she makes me better. But she did have a really fascinating question. So if you guys have any questions or comments or things that you want me to jot down to make sure I include with this new plan, please do that for me now. Drink some water. My internet's a little slow sometimes, so I hope I get them. And if you don't have anything right now, that's fine. Feel free to think about it and shoot it my direction, whether it be through private message or Facebook, Instagram, any of that kind of thing. Let me know, because I do want to know your ideas and your thoughts and how you guys feel about a lot of this stuff. So, oh, thanks, Effie. I appreciate it. I miss Asia. I'm going to be super honest with you. I miss Asia so bad. So bad. There's a Vietnamese chili sauce I've been trying to find for months, and nobody apparently carries it in a store here. And so I just paid a ridiculous amount of money on Amazon. I mean, $6, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when it's $1 in Vietnam, it's a lot. Broke down. Couldn't take it anymore. I needed that flavor. So I appreciate that. I miss Asia terribly. I didn't realize it'd get under my skin quite like that. So hopefully some of you will visit and kind of retrace some of our steps. I think we may. Jimmy and I have been talking about it. I will have to, you know what? I will put do I have a picture in my phone? I don't know if I still have one. If I would have thought about it, you know what? I'll put it in my favorites. The next favorites video that I do. Jimmy just yelled, I'll go get it. We've been making everybody in the house try it because it's just that good. It's my favorite thing. Tomorrow, let me tell you guys about this. Tomorrow, we're going to make a thing called opla. And if any of you have ever been to Vietnam, this is what they eat for breakfast. It's like banh mi bread or just a basic kind of roll, but it needs to be really, really soft. And put on it 2 fried eggs, but the yolks still need to be a little runny. And then you put tomatoes on top of that, and then you put cucumbers on top of that, and then you put this chili sauce on it. That's breakfast. That's breakfast in Vietnam, and it will change your whole life. It is good. Jimmy went to get it for me. I'll show you. Stephanie, buy this. Just trust me when I say go buy that. Also, super not sponsored, but just go get it because it's just the best thing ever. It's hot. It's hot with a little sweet, but it's just, Effie, when you go, it's not hot. I don't think it's hot. But we're also crazy because we think it's sweet, and his parents tried it and it lit them on fire. So taste at your own risk. But it even says spicy taste elevating deliciousness. Oh, so good. Get this. Just trust me. I'll teach you guys how to make opla so you can see how to use it. But it's just enough hot and sweet together that it's incredible. So good. Stephanie. Yeah, we'll pay a really ridiculous amount of money for things that we've missed from other countries. It's crazy, but we do. Oh, Effie's going to Vietnam in November. That's amazing. You will love it. Load up because it's $1. It's $1 in Vietnam. So load up and buy tons and tons and tons of it because it's just the best. I would tell you to buy some for me and I'll send you money, but it'll cost you more than in shipping than it would for me just to order it on Amazon. But it's the best. This is an English one. I was a little disappointed because I wanted it in Vietnamese, but that's what it says. Produced in Vietnam. So good. Awesome. If you guys watch this on Chumming Away, you know Troy, Jimmy's cousin, he bought a bunch of this when he was with us in Vietnam and brought it home to Japan. So, well, I will ask you guys Danielle's question here, and we'll discuss it a bit, and then I'll let you guys go for your evening because I know it's probably late where you are. So she posted this in response to my post on Facebook. She said, in a circle of women, wouldn't it be a great conversation topic to ask everyone to talk about how they pick themselves up when they're feeling bad and how they look, about how they look? We all go through that, and I'd love to hear how others deal with it. I'll be asleep when you go live, but I'll watch it later. So what would you guys answer to that? Like, how do you respond and deal with comments? Oh, Stephanie, 3:45 in the morning. Please, Lord, go to bed. You're so sweet. I appreciate you for coming. Thank you. My goodness, you're more dedicated than I have to say. I don't know if I would be able to get up that early. You're the best. I hope you can go back to sleep after this. But yeah, so how do you guys respond? How do you guys deal with that? If anybody has any comments or anything about your weight, how do you deal with that? What do you do? I think it's important to discuss that because everybody views that differently and everybody responds to that differently. That I think we can really help each other with that here. Ignore them. That's good, Effie. I try to do that too. I actually had somebody call me a fatty this weekend, which was really frustrating. Oh, your first lesson's at 12:30. Good. So I'll tell you guys what happened to me and how I responded. And I was a little mad at myself with the whole situation. I wish I had responded differently, but I was at Goodwill and on Saturday with Jimmy and Jimmy's mom and his sister, and we were just shopping around, having fun. And this girl who had to be 14, maybe 16, like she was not very old. And I was waiting for the dressing room, and there were two of them side by side, and she kept coming out of one and going into the other one. And she was gone quite some time. And so I asked the guy that they were with, I said, hey, is she finished with the dressing room? I'll be in and out. Just need to use it. And he said, I don't know. So he gets up and he goes and he gets her. And she comes out and she goes, no, like really rude. And then she looks right at me and she says, fatty can wait. It took me aback so much that I didn't immediately respond to her. I kind of sat there and was just like, did I hear you right? You know? And so it really took me a second. I didn't end up saying anything to her. I didn't end up responding. I told his mom and sister about it, and Hillary was like, where is she? You know, and then Jimmy was like, man, I wish I'd been there. But it's one of those things, it shocks you so much, you don't know what to say. And so it stops you for a minute, doesn't it? Linda. Oh, Catherine. That's a great question. I'm still struggling with that. Me too. I have a hard time with it too. Linda, I just feel bad. Sometimes the tears get real. The sting takes a while to leave. It does. I don't think people realize how much things like that hurt. Words are painful. I always remember that phrase, sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me. Oh, the lie that was. Because words hurt worse than anything, because you can't ever forget them. Effie, I've eliminated all negative people. Good for you. Peggy, you know they are unhappy with themselves. That's very true. That's very true. Something I'm learning and reading is that people can only see you in the perception in which they see themselves. And if someone is responding to you like that, it just shows how unhappy they are with themselves, and they're projecting that unhappiness onto you. While that's really easy to learn and to think about when you're away from that situation, is totally different than when you're in it. Because, hindsight's always 20/20. It's really, really difficult, isn't it, to kind of figure out how you're going to respond to somebody that's talking to you like that. Effie, they are low-class people. They are. Holly, wow, how unbelievable. So sorry you had to go through that. It's one of those things. I think if I had been by myself, it would have been much harder. Hillary is hilarious. She makes me laugh. And she and I are a lot alike. And so I really appreciate her for that. I've never been somebody who needs necessarily people to stick up for me, but that situation shocked me so much that it's like it silences you, and Jimmy's mom, Debbie, was so helpful with it too, because she said, just ignore them, forget them, because they don't matter at the end of the day. It shouldn't matter what they're thinking. Don't sink to their level. Because my initial knee-jerk reaction is to fight situations like that. Not physically fight, but like pounce. And I got madder and madder the longer I stood outside that door waiting for her to finish. I thought, I'm going to get her when she comes out here. But you also don't want to sink to their level. You don't want to be a low-class, trashy person either. So it really starts this internal struggle that you have. Thankfully, her friend finished first, and I never had to face her again. But Stephanie, I have a student in a group class who lately says she has nothing in common with fat, lazy people, so she doesn't speak to them. That's kind of mean. So is she insinuating anybody that is overweight, she just automatically assumes they're lazy people and she doesn't talk to them? If so, that's not fair of her. Catherine, I was in IHOP bathroom and a girl called me whoa. I just walked out and didn't say anything. I was in shock and had no clue what to do. Wow. Sometimes walking away is the best thing you can do for yourself, because you're protecting yourself really at the end of the day. And so I think it's healthy for you to be able to sort of walk away from that situation versus escalating it. That's hard to do too, because you feel like you should be able to stick up for yourself in those situations, But at the end of the day, are we really going to change their opinion? No, probably not. The likelihood that we're going to change their opinion of us as overweight people, or even their opinion of their life, because clearly they're greatly unhappy, there's really nothing you can do to change that perception. The only thing we can do is protect ourselves. But unfortunately, if you fight back, sometimes it escalates a situation to something much, much worse. And so it's really hard how to know. It's a blurred line of balance to try to figure out what to do in those situations. And sometimes walking away is the best option, and it's the best thing to do for yourself. Effie, someone in Europe said to me, "You eat a lot." And I said, "Well, get away from me because I also eat people." And the look on her face was priceless. That's funny. Humor. That's hysterical. Peggy, tell them, "May God bless you," and walk away. That's a good one. I like that. And we get stuff like that on Chubbing Away all the time. We get people, any hate comments that we get is always weight related. Always. And Jimmy responds to those comments because they frustrate me. And so he's so much better at letting it roll off. But he'll often say, "I am so sorry you're so unhappy that makes you feel the need to speak this way to someone you don't know." And that's really what it's about sometimes. My son would tell them, "Wow, I am, thank you, I didn't know." Yeah, exactly. Linda, I love that, Peggy. I have a friend that covers it with "bless your little old heart." I love that. It's great. You have to let it roll off and just don't sit there in it very long. Linda, I am so much like you. I have the hardest time letting stuff like that go sometimes. And I festered for a good rest of Saturday, dealing with that, kind of, I should have said this, or I should have said that, or I should have responded, but Jimmy and I were talking about it, and he said, really, it wouldn't have fixed it. And it wouldn't have. I wouldn't have changed her opinion of me. I wouldn't have changed her opinion of anything. And so you just need to know within you that response is not about you, that comment is not about you. Just because it was directed at you does not make it about you. So I think that's awesome. And Danielle, I love you and I appreciate you for sending that question, because I feel like that's something that we could all talk about for an hour easily on how to respond to those situations, on how to deal with those situations, because they're never going to end. And it's not always going to be a weight thing. They could think, "Well, I don't like your curly hair," or "I don't like your glasses," or "pink doesn't look good on you." It's just, it's one of those things that somebody's always going to have something terrible to say. I wish people would realize that just because someone is plus size doesn't mean we're unhealthy. Absolutely, Catherine, absolutely. It's true. People associate people of size with a lack of confidence, with us being unhealthy, and they also kind of associate us with a lack of self-control. Sometimes it's genetics. Sometimes we're just bigger people. I'm built bigger. I'm tall. I'm big boned. I just always have been. I am not a small framed woman, and there's nothing I can do about that. And so sometimes people assume that about you, or that you're an emotional eater. They don't think that sometimes it's medical. Sometimes it's medicine you're taking. Sometimes it's a thyroid issue. Sometimes it, like I said, genetics. Sometimes it is something we can prevent, but not always. And so it's not fair for people to automatically jump to that conclusion. And it's really unfortunate that people do that. I thought it wasn't too long ago that I was thinking, we all have an insecurity, right? We all have something that makes us feel insecure. Some people, I knew girls like this in high school and college that were really insecure about their boobs. Like they wanted huge, massive, I don't know why, boobs, massive ones, weird. But they were really insecure about that. Or they were insecure about wearing glasses, or they were insecure about their nose or whatever. The difference between that and us as plus size people is, I think you can see our insecurity, right? Like most of the time, somebody of size is not super confident about it. They're not feeling really awesome about that. Whereas if I met you, I would have no idea if you were insecure about your nose, because to me, it's just a nose. And I would have no idea if you're insecure about your glasses or your hair or your boobs or whatever you're insecure about, because those are things we all have. Those are things that nobody thinks to judge, because we just all have that. I never look at women at the grocery store and think her boobs are way too small. Like, no. But as plus size people, we always feel judged because it's like we wear that. We wear it like a suit, and it's not something that we can cover up. It's not something we can take away, and it's much harder to change. And so, you kind of wear that around you all the time, and you end up being at this like constant state of defensiveness, because if somebody says something, I'm going to defend myself. And we have to do that, and it's important, but we also have to realize that sometimes we can feel sorry for them and keep going. Stephanie. My favorite quote this week: your purpose in life is not losing weight, it's being happy. Absolutely. I love that. I also saw, I took a screenshot of this too. I'll close our live event with this. I read this and I thought it was absolutely genius. It was on a Pinterest account called Loud Bodies, which I had never heard of before, but somebody that I follow reposted this. And they said, how much did Florence Nightingale weigh when she founded modern nursing? How much did Rosa Parks weigh when she took a seat on the bus? How much did Malala, I never can say her last name, you know who I'm talking about, weigh when she started writing about the lives of girls in Pakistan living under Taliban rule? You didn't know. That's the right answer, because it doesn't matter. And I love that, because here's women in history who have changed things. They have changed the course of history in massive ways. And the first question out of anybody's mouth about them is not how much they weigh. And so the right answer is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And so that's what I want this to be for all of us, is a place where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You come here and your weight doesn't matter. If you're a size 5 or you're a size 55, it doesn't matter. You're among friends. It is safe here. You are worthy and deserving of everything that you want in your life. You're still beautiful. You're still creative. You're still smart. And you're still everything that you ever want to be. Your gene size doesn't dictate it. And so I feel like together, as sisters and friends, we can walk this journey together and be supportive of one another, because that's really what you need at the end of the day, is other supportive women who are going through what you're going through. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I am so pleased to have all of you here. I'm so excited as to where hopefully this channel and everything with it can go. And yeah, send me your suggestions. Keep in touch with me, and I will 100% promise you that we will have a video next week. It'll be a really fun one that I actually pre-filmed before a lot of this happened, but to me and my niece, and she'll make you smile. So until then, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. You're amazing, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.